Hey y'all, Flipper Fred here. Thanks so much for joining me today as we take a look at the Temu knockoff special of the Benchmade Taggedout in carbon fiber. Please, if you would, take a minute to hit that subscribe and notification button down below. It really helps us little guys kind of make our way on the YouTubes. I surely do appreciate it. As always, we'll have some links down in the description where you can buy the real version of this knife as well as the Temu version of this knife, which is what we're looking at here today. Of course, if you've done any shopping on Temu, then you will certainly already know that the vendors that are selling this knife on Temu today will be gone by tomorrow and a new one will spring up in their place. So you just have to do the best you can. Throw one or two of these into your shopping cart. Don't buy it right away, and Temu will show you all kinds of other variations and versions of this knife. There are a couple of different color versions that you can get this in. There's a really nice green one that has like a kind of a green, I guess, Grivery type scale, I think it is. But I like the carbon fiber here. So we're going to take a look at the good, the bad, the ugly of this knife and let you know what I think about it. Before we dive into the knife and start looking at the specs, I just want to show you the box that it came in. And so this is obviously a hinting knife. There's your first giveaway right there. Clearly, I mean, they've gone to great lengths to just totally knock off this brand. And by the way, if you haven't seen any of my other Temu knife review videos, I should say, just in case, I am not a proponent of knocking off other people's intellectual property like this. I actually think this is terrible. This is an awful thing that these Chinese manufacturers can get away with doing this to big brands in the U.S. like this. However, that being said, you can buy these on Temu, and I'm sure if you're into knives and you've looked at them at all on Temu, you probably wonder to yourself, hey, I wonder, is that any good or is it just crap? Hopefully, that's what this channel is aiming to do, is to kind of give you a little bit of feedback. I have gone out and bought these for you, so you don't have to. I think I might have paid a little extra for this. This might have cost me $30 on Temu. But again, as far as the packaging goes, tagged out, select edge, blue class, you know, they've done a good job of really knocking it off, except their spelling in English. So this is a hinting knife, not a hunting knife. That's all right. I like to go hinting sometimes too. Inside the package, this is actually one of the few Benchmates that does have this kind of, pulled it all right out of there, didn't I? This roundish cut out shape in here. So this is one of the ways you can usually tell a Benchmade knockoff, is very few of them will have this kind of oval shape cut out around there inside the box. However, if you also have looked at how to spot a fake Benchmade, you'll know that the foam cells are much larger. They're like little pebbles, just very large. It's kind of a hard foam. This is a soft and mushy foam. And the real one has large, like pebbly foam. You'll know it when you see it. You can definitely tell the difference in the foam. However, they do package it up with a nice Benchmade microfiber cloth bag, just like you get with the real thing. I think this one did also come with a little access lock sticker that comes in there. But since it's not in the box, maybe this is one of the ones that didn't come with that. So that's enough about the packaging. Clearly they've knocked it off. Here's the thing, y'all. I don't have, you know, the money to spend on this thing. A couple $100 at least. I think the carbon fibers go closer towards $300 plus. I just, you know, if you're like me, you're on a budget. This is blades on a budget. And, I don't have this kind of budget to buy, you know, a bunch of $300 knives. I don't have the budget to buy one $300 knife. However, I can spend $30 on the knife, put it in my pocket, carry it around, try it out, cut some things with it, see if I enjoy carrying it and using it. And you know what? More of these Temu knockoffs have actually now made me decide I want to save my pennies and buy the real thing on so many of these knives that I've reviewed on this channel. Whereas, you know, I just kind of blew it off. Well, that's not a knife for me. I'm never going to spend $300 on a knife. Now you carry these for a little while and you try them out and you see how good some of them work and the fit and the finish of them. And you say to yourself, man, if the real thing is even better than this in some small way, even if it's just as good as this is a knife I'd really love to have in my pocket. So it's kind of worked in reverse. This is actually making a buyer out of me where I didn't exist as a buyer for this brand and these knives before. All right, let's take a quick peek down some of the specs. I'm going to put them up on the screen here so you can see them. It matches, you can see all the little green check marks in almost every way. The original, it's the right length, it's the right blade length, the open length, closed length. The blade thickness is on. This is a very thin, slicey blade. This is a full flat grind. Yes, this is a full flat grind. A lot of them have a little bit, it's not fully flat all the way to the top. This one is, in fact, fully flat ground all the way to the top. That certainly is very nice. Handle thickness for me came in a little bit thinner than the 0.48 that they say. Now that's, 3/100ths of an inch. That could certainly just be the difference in my calipers versus their calipers and where each of us measured that handle. There is a little bit of contouring, very subtle, but there is, a little bit of a swell around the side. Certainly feels excellent in the hand, just as the original and real one does as well. Says it's a Cerakote blade. I'm not entirely sure about that, although I'll tell you, it's not just cheap paint. I've cut some stuff with it, cut through some cardboard. It actually cleans up like a champ. Is it real Cerakote? I don't know. It kind of looks and feels like it to me, but only time will tell as I really put this thing to the test how easily that surfacing will wear away. But I'm going to tell you, the finish on the paint, this Cerakote, is really outstanding for a $30 knockoff knife. They went, to great lengths to make this thing feel good. The carbon fiber is absolutely 100% carbon fiber. This thing is incredibly lightweight. You can see mine came in at just 1/10 of an ounce heavier than the original at 2.5 ounces. So we'll get to some size comparisons. This is a big, full-size knife, and it's only 2.5 ounces. That is phenomenally lightweight and comfortable, easy to carry in the pocket. It does have the standard shorter Benchmade, yet full depth pocket clip. This is great, worked great for me. I like the little orange lanyard and the backspacer on here. I think that's just a really cool little added touch to the knife. This is one that I might actually put a lanyard on. I'm not a big lanyard fan for my knives, but this one might be one that I might do that with. So you can see, again, in almost every way, this knife matches the specs, the height, the weight, the width of the original knife. It feels good. The action is solid. You can see it flips open almost pretty good. Not fully broken in yet. Benchmades take a lot of flipping, and I certainly haven't reached that 200-300 flips yet. And sometimes I just lose it with my thumb. You can see that was a very poor. The detent is really strong on this knife. Look at that thing from right here. It sucks it back in. But, a lot of the Axis locks from Benchmade do have a really strong detent. You can get behind it and spidey flick it. Of course, you'll fail it like me, but more times than not, I can be successful. And really, it's, if you carry it for a while and practice your flipping, you'll get to the point where you don't fail it anymore. So you can spidey flick from the back. You can thumb flick it from the front. Just in terms of overall fit and finish, is really solid. You've got all the jimping matches the original knife, no problem there. Got a little bit of jimping on the blades and more jimping right here. Gives great traction. This backspacer, you can see, is textured and raised just a little bit. That really helps keep it solid in your hand. It's really hard to explain the feeling and texture of this carbon fiber. It is not slick at all. It actually is a little bit grippy, and it feels wonderful. I mean, like, this carbon fiber is really well done. I don't understand how they can possibly charge $30 for a knife that is really this well made. So just, it matches all the specs. Benchmade went to great lengths to make sure this knife fit and was finished out well. And that is certainly the case on this knockoff one as well. No real hot spots. The action, again, we talked about already. Easy enough to flip out. Strong detent. Deep carry pocket clip. There's nothing not to like about this blade. Let's take a quick peek at the comparisons in size in case you haven't already seen those. So if you are a Spyderco man, then you will recognize the Paramilitary 2. The PM2 is probably the closest in size. I mean, these things are very, very close in size in terms of that. The Para 3, not the PM3, the Para 3, you can see is certainly shorter and smaller. So again, this is a full-size knife here. Let's take a look at a couple of others. So how about the Benchmade Osborne 940? Certainly somewhat close, although even the Osborne's a little bit smaller than that. And how about our good old Benchmade Bug-Out? You can see is certainly smaller as well. So this is more close to a full-size knife, although again, super lightweight, 2.5 ounces. Hard to beat that in terms of fit, finish, and quality. Would I recommend this? First and foremost, I hate even thinking about recommending a knockoff knife from China. But here's kind of my test. We didn't talk about the blade and the branding on it. Kind of tough to see. It says it's a CPM 154. I highly doubt this is a CPM 154 steel. We did not do any cut testing with it, but let's take a look and see, will this thing cut? Yep. So it's not the sharpest knife I have ever owned, but certainly plenty sharp enough to get the job done. So it cuts well, feels good in the hand. Will it last? Don't know. Only time will tell. But for 30 bucks, is it worth it? Yeah, despite the fact that it's a knockoff, and I really hate recommending anything that's a knockoff from China. If you took all the branding off of this knife, put it in my hand and said, Neil, would you pay $50? Would you give me $50 for this knife without any name, logo, branding on it? And I'm sitting here holding a really well-made carbon fiber knife that feels good. It's lightweight. It fits in the hand spectacularly. It cuts like a champ. Who knows how well it will last in the overall longevity and durability of that blade? I don't know, but I would absolutely give you $50 for this knife without anybody's name or brand on it. I don't care, honestly, that it's a knockoff. I kind of hate it that it is a knockoff and that it is branded. But I'm not going to try to pretend to my friends. Look at me, I'm fancy pants. I've got a real Benchmade Bug-Out and spent $300 on it. My friends know better, and I'm too old for those kind of silly reindeer games anyhow. I'm more likely to say, look at this $30 knife that I picked up with carbon fiber handles and a fantastic blade on it. Isn't that impressive? So in that regard, yeah, I unfortunately do have to recommend, if you're on a budget like me, and you just want to be able to hold and try and feel them for yourself and see how it feels in your hand and cut some stuff with it. Heck, I would use this for hinting. Even if I was to go out hinting, I would certainly feel comfortable enough carrying this on my next hinting trip. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of a sense. Listen, if I have helped you out in any way or you appreciate this kind of content, it would mean the world to me if you would go down below and just give me a little thumbs up, or you can give me a thumbs down if you think it's terrible. Tell me in the comments, I know I'm going to get them anyhow, how terrible it is that anybody would even begin to look at or recommend in any way a Chinese knockoff of an American knife. I get it. I empathize. I am with you on that. Hopefully that helps. Again, give me a thumbs up if you like it. Give me a thumbs down if you hate it. Tell me what you think about it in the comments. Thanks so much for your time today. I will see you soon. Take care.